Okay, so we are going to do something today जो मैं सुबह कराऊंगा उसके बेस पे एक एक्सरसाइज आप लोगों ने करनी है इंडिविजुअल सबकी. So please just focus. So this is forward contract rates and basic. Okay, so these are the basics of the forward contracts. Now forward contract is an agreement between two counterparts to exchange currencies on a future date at a rate fixed in the contract. Fine, that means the two people who enter into a forward contract where they decide about what rate they are going to execute the contract. Like suppose you go to a bank and buy a forward contract from the bank. Okay, whenever you want to make a payment to your supplier, or you're going to get money abroad as an exporter. Since you are doing this with the other course also, so it becomes easier for you to understand everything, I believe. Forward rate is quoted with spot rate and forward margin separately. Now when you look at the rates, they are given as forward rate, the spot rate and swap points. This you have done in your earlier class?
Yes, sir. जैसे 65, 28.
हाँ, absolutely.
22, 23.
बिल्कुल. So yeah, same thing. The spot rate suppose is 82.53 and 0.54. So it is $1 is equal to 83.53, which is the bid rate, and ask rate is 82.54. Now bid belongs to the exporters, normally to remember that, and ask belongs to the importers. Whenever you are going to import, you have to pay at the ask rate, which is higher, and whenever you are getting money from abroad, you are going to surrender your dollars or whatever currency, and you are going to get the bid rate. Okay, so bid is always lower than ask. Now the 6 months forward rates are forward rate is given 80.84. Okay, which means what? So these are the points. Okay, which means you could just simply add them with a spot rate to arrive at the forward rate. Okay, is that clear? So that means you are going to take the spot rate and add the swap points to the spot rate and arrive at a 6 months forward rate. Is it clear to everyone? Okay. So this is normally it is done like that. The rates which are quoted on the markets are given either like the spot rate and the forward points, or it can be given as a full rate itself. So it has been already calculated by the site and giving you a complete details.
So like spot rates are always available somewhere on the website.
I'm just going to take you.
Sounds like forward rate. It is always given to us when it is quoted, or is there
Huh. So we are going to do the same thing only. So just be at rest. After 5 minutes, you will get everything what you are looking for. Okay. Now there are two sites which I have given here at the bottom. Okay. So we will visit these sites and look first of all, as you are saying how it is given. So we go to first this site. Open both the sites. Okay. At the same time on your laptop, or if you can just see it here. So this is, whenever you are going to look at the rates, okay. So the US dollar versus Indian rupee, the rate is, which is the live rate today. Today the market is closed, so 85.7783. Now the rates are given up to 4 decimal places. That's a rule in, everywhere, most of it. In India also we have a 4 decimal place. And the last digit is called what? PIP. जो last digit है, that is PIP. So it changes by 1 PIP. 3 का 4 हो जाएगा, 4 का, जैसे अब next जो होगा वो 4 होगा, जैसे अगर बढ़ेगा, so it moves in pips. Okay, fine. So it is 0.001 is the PIP. Then it moves in that way. Okay. So the next quote, suppose it goes up, it will be 85.7784. Okay, that means it has moved by 1 PIP. Okay. Now, so this is a complete rate. Where the site is giving you, don't have to calculate, the swap points are not given here, the rates are given to you. Overnight rate, bid, ask, and mid is the average of the bid plus ask. Okay, fine. And the points is basically the difference between the spot rate and the forward rate. Okay, so this is, bid का मतलब ये होता है, midpoint is basically bid plus ask divided by 2. It's an average rate. Sometimes when you go to the site, they give you this is the rate without specifying bid and ask. So it is always a mid rate. Okay, fine. So just to know that, because bid is for buying, ask is for, when you are, ask is when you are, buying or bid is when you are selling. Okay, but it is just the opposite from the dealer's point of view. Bid is buying and ask is selling from the dealer's perspective. From the customer perspective, it's just the opposite. Okay, so the point is basically nothing but cost of carry. I'll explain you that later on. So that is the difference between the spot rate and the forward rate. Okay, fine. So we will do this exercise so you will be able to understand that very well. So now suppose you want to know what is the rate after 1 year. Suppose you have to make a payment after 1 year. So the rate is 85.8007 and 85.8019. Suppose if you are an importer, what's your good name? Rohit. So Rohit, if you are an importer, so which rate is valid for you? The 85.8019 or 85.8? So at what rate you are going to make a payment? Huh? Bid? No, ask. Because you're an importer. हाँ आप इंपोर्ट कर रहे हो तो आपको हायर, देखो अब दोनों में से हायर कौन सा है? आपने देना है पैसा, हाँ बाई करनी है, तो फॉरेन करेंसी बाई करने का रेट जो है वो आस्क है. आस्क बिलोंग्स टू द इंपोर्टर्स, बिड बिलोंग्स टू द एक्सपोर्टर्स. हाँ तो जस्ट लिसन टू मी अगेन, जस्ट लिसन टू माई एक्सप्लेनेशन. नाउ बिड इज अ बाइंग रेट ऑफ व्हाट? द डीलर. So that means if I am giving my dollars, he will buy at that rate, bid rate. But if I have got dollars and I give it to the dealer, so I am selling, he is buying from me. Okay, fine. If it is ask, it is just the opposite. Okay, fine. So ask is always higher. That means when you have to buy, you have to buy at a higher rate. When you have to sell, you have to sell at a lower rate. अगर आप भूल भी जाओ तो आप देखो इसमें से रेट ज़्यादा कौन सा वाला है? आस्क वाला है. So when you are an importer, you have to pay higher amount. Is that okay? Fine. Now this is one way of looking it. Now I'll just open the other also site. Then I'll go to the Excel sheet which you have to, which supposed to do at your end also, the same thing. So you have to choose your own currency pair and do the same analysis what I have done in my this thing. So now we go to a site where instead of giving the full rates, the rate is given in points. Okay, अभी आपको समझ में आ जाएगा अच्छी तरह. आप एक्सरसाइज करोगे ना तो भूलोगे ही नहीं कभी भी. Okay, so now this is another site which gives you the spot rate and then it gives you like this forward rates. So it is giving you the points, not the rate. Okay, so bid and ask, like bid is 0.30. Okay, ask is 1.9. So he is not giving you a full rate, he is giving you only swap points. So you have to just add from the spot. Okay, if the currency is increasing, if the dollar is appreciating, then you have to add. If the dollar is depreciating, then that means you have to deduct. Okay, so we'll understand that again. So now these rates are.
What are these SWSL?
हाँ, I'm just explaining that. अभी आप खुद एक्सरसाइज करोगे आपको समझ में आ जाएगा. So this is overnight, यानी कि नेक्स्ट डे का रेट है. आज का रेट ये है, कल का रेट जो है that is ON. Then we come to 1 month forward. So similarly you have TN, SN and SW, which I am going to explain. This is week, next week. Okay, fine. Then we have 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 5 month, like this you have rates. Okay, so आपको क्या करना है, अब इन दोनों चार्ट्स को आपने कॉपी पेस्ट करके एक फाइल में ले जाना है. ओके, यहाँ पर this is what you are going to do. Okay, so now what I have done, I have copied paste the rates from the site. Now when you copy and paste, you will not get the rate like this. Okay, तो आप इसको चैट जीपीटी में ले जाओ, AI में, और उसको बोलो उसको कन्वर्ट कर दो एक्सेल शीट में. So you just download the file from the site, just take a snapshot and go to ChatGPT and attach the file there and say convert this into an Excel sheet. So it will be done by. Then you download, it will look like this. Okay, fine. Is that okay? हाँ, ये एक्सेल मैंने कर दिया, मैं एक दिन पहले कर देता हूँ. ओके, हाँ वही है वही. तो नाउ यू हैव ये मैंने करके रिवाइज करके एक बार दोबारा और करी है, क्योंकि उसके बाद भी मैंने कई चेंजेस करी हैं, आपको रिवाइज भी और दोबारा भेज दूंगा जो इसमें नहीं है. ओके, so now so we have this rate. Just look at this Excel sheet. So it has the spot rate, and this is on 1st of January 2025 when I took the snapshot. Okay, so this is a very good exercise. Please listen, and if you do this, आपके फंड एकदम क्लियर हो जाएंगे, and it's a very good learning also for everyone. So this is the bid rate, this is the ask rate. Okay, now this is the formula which is given here. So what I have done, I have asked ChatGPT to convert this into an Excel sheet along with formulas, how you have calculated the bid and ask rate. So it has given a formulas. So formulas भी आ गए, नहीं तो आप खुद भी formula बना सकते हो. It's very simple. The spot rate plus the bid rate. Okay. और मैं अगर यहाँ जाता हूँ तो it will be spot rate plus the ask rate. Okay. So you keep adding the spot rate plus the bid and ask. So you will have now a complete picture about what is the rate. So the second site which I was telling you, it is actually calculated the same way. Is that okay? जो हमने second site में तो आपको पूरी पक्की पकाई मिल गया था rates, तो आपने भी उसको convert कर दिए. Is that okay? Now इधर मैंने इसमें क्या करा है कि you can just ask, you know, what you do is that, so ultimately what you have to do this exercise and you have to make a report. Okay, in the first sheet you have to make a report that what you have learned from all this exercise. Okay, once I complete that, so then you just ask the chat GPT, please explain me all the columns and rows of this table. So he will tell you everything. Okay, so he says that bid rate is nothing but spot plus bid plus forward points. Okay, now फॉरवर्ड पॉइंट्स हैव टू बी डिवाइडेड बाय 100. तो ये जो पॉइंट हैं यहाँ पर, इनको पहले इसको 100 से डिवाइड करना पड़ेगा. तो आप देखो फॉर्मूला में क्या आ रहा है, सबसे ऊपर फॉर्मूला में आ रहा है B1 विच इज द स्पॉट रेट प्लस B3 विच इज द बिड रेट डिवाइडेड बाय 100. ओके, फाइन, इज दैट ओके? तो फिर ये ऐड हो जाएगा. आपको ऐसे ऐड नहीं करना, आपको इसको फॉरवर्ड पॉइंट्स को 100 से डिवाइड करना है. फाइन, इज दैट क्लियर? ओके. Now once you have done this, so next होगा point forward premium. Now you want to know at what rate the forward, compared to the spot, at what premium the dollar is trading, what percentage. Okay, so you calculated the bid rate, and then it is, you know, for the first month, then second month, like this for up to 2 years the rate is given here. Is that okay? Fine. So then the bid premium. So premium is 3%. The formula is coming at the top, okay, which is B2. I just, you know, इसको formula में हम देख सकते हैं, B2 divided by 100, okay, divided by 85.506 into 12 divided by D2. So it is calculating the premium कि इन दोनों में spot rate में और forward rate में दोनों में difference कितना है और कितना percentage बढ़ गया rate. You know, it's like this. What is the difference between, just listen to me, what is the difference between bid rate, what is the difference between the spot rate and the forward rate? Okay, so that difference divided by the base which is a spot rate, it will give you a percentage and you have to analyze it. Fine, उसको analyze करना. तो annual आ गया, आप यहाँ देखोगे आप, तो it is coming 3% is the bid. Okay, okay, now just look at the 1 year forward rate. 1 year में rate कितना आ रहा है? 2.5%. That means, you know, 1 year is very relevant rate, this thing, because the short term there is a lot of volatility and everything. The percentage may go up and down, but 1 year will tell you 1 year basis में हमारा जो rate है जो है 2.4% बढ़ा हुआ रेट, जो स्पॉट रेट से अराउंड 2.4% डॉलर ज़्यादा है. ओके, फाइन. व्हाट डज दैट मीन? It means there is an inflation rate differential between India and America is roughly around 2.5%. Or more, better way, what is the interest rate differential between India and America? That's about 2.41%. Interest rate. Interest rate. Okay. So now what I did was I cross-checked. I'll just show you that. The interest rate in India, now we look at what interest rate? The government bond rate. 10-year गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड रेट, और सॉरी 1-year गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड रेट। तो 1-year गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड रेट जो है इंडिया में 6.67% चल रहा है और अमेरिका में चल रहा है 4.16। अगर दैट मीन्स द बॉन्ड्स विच आर इशूड बाय आरबीआई ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ गवर्नमेंट every week, okay, it carries a coupon rate. So that is the rate at which the government is borrowing money, okay, and a lot of people are investing in them, basically banks, financial institutions or mutual funds. And because we are investing in mutual funds, we are also having exposure to these bonds. Most of us have, and we don't realize that, okay. So the difference between the two is how much? 2.5%. So it is exactly playing out in your forward rates also, okay, fine. जो दोनों का डिफरेंस है 1 साल का इंटरेस्ट रेट का, वो 1 साल के फॉरवर्ड रेट्स में रिफ्लेक्ट हो जाएगा, ओके, इज दैट क्लियर? नाउ व्हाट आई हैव डन इज आई हैव गॉन टू अ साइट कॉल्ड ट्रेडिंग। आप इसमें क्या कर सकते हो, इस साइट पे चले जाओ tradingview.com में एंड गो फॉर अ 1 month ट्रायल वर्जन, okay, and then cancel it if you don't want to, because it's of no use for you. So I have a 1 month paid version also with me, okay. Now go to Indian government bond yields. So this is the bond rates, okay. So अभी जो bond rate कितना चल रहा है 1 year का 6.645%. It is telling you at what rate, if the government takes money for 1 year, government is paying roughly 6.64% rate of interest, okay. So this is the yield, not the coupon rate, because these bonds are tradable in the market, okay. So because the bonds are trading either at a premium or discount, so आपका वो premium से जो rate होता है coupon rate से थोड़ा हट जाता है, because today somebody is going to invest, he is going to invest at the current price, okay. So the rate that I'll explain you later, okay, fine. So अभी इसका मतलब चलो कि ये coupon rate ही है, for your understanding think that this is the rate which the government is borrowing from public or from financial institutions. So 1 year rate, okay, 3 month rate is this, and if the government is issuing bonds for 2 years, then the rate is this. The government borrows at 30 years also. 30 साल के लिए भी government borrow करती है. That means government issues bonds which they have to repay back after 30 years. But somebody wants to sell, he can sell in the stock market because you are not tied up for 30 years. If you are thinking that इसमें निकल जाऊँ मैं, तो आपको पैसा वापस मिल जाता है. But these bonds will actually mature after 30 years. Okay, the person who holds the bond till maturity, he is going to get his money back, 100 rupees. Suppose 100 rupees का bond है कर दो.
So during these 30 years, they will be paying the interest charges?
They are going to pay the interest which is appearing on your yield column. Think that this is the coupon rate, but this is not a coupon rate. They pay at the coupon. Now coupon rate can be slightly higher, 7.5%. The yield can be lower and higher than the coupon rate. I'll explain you the phenomenon later and why, how it hovers. So now just notice here, which coupon rate or yield is highest? The 30 year. They are called risk free bonds. They are called risk free. इसमें कोई रिस्क नहीं है, अगर आप पैसा लगाओगे तो गवर्नमेंट की सॉवरन रेटिंग है और आपको पैसा मिल जाएगा गवर्नमेंट से. But ideally speaking, there is no risk. There should not be difference of any yield or coupon rate. But since you give the money for 30 years, so the person who is going to give, he will demand a little higher interest rate. The person who is giving money for only 3 months, the interest rate will be lower. By that logic, it should be like 3 months का सबसे lowest होगा और 30 years का सबसे ज़्यादा होगा. You are noticing that? Now you just plot a graph. इसको बोलते हैं yield curve. This is a very important graph. ये graph आ गया आपका. Okay. Now ये जो graph है Indian government bond yields. Okay, so these are our government bond yields. You can make a graph for corporate bonds and other bonds, but this is the most sacrosanct is a government bond. Now there are 3 lines here. The line which is dark blue, okay, this is the current rate. यानी कि 3 महीने से लेके 30 years तक का rate of interest plotted है. Okay, and there is a graph. So graph is upward sloping. If this is the shape of the is called yield curve, then the country is fine. Then we say that the country is not in recession. Country is doing fine. It should be an upward sloping curve. That means the longer the period, higher the rate would be. Sometimes this becomes inverse. which means the shorter term yields are very high and longer term yields are low. So that means currently the world or that country is passing through a recession or about to be under recession, okay? Because the people are demanding more rate of interest for even giving the money for 3 months. बट ओवर द लॉन्ग टर्म पीपल थिंक दैट इतने साल तक तो नहीं होगा, आगे जाके तो ठीक ही हो जाएगा. तो अभी करंट में 3 महीने में 2 साल में यील्ड बढ़ी हुई नजर आ जाएगी. तो जैसे ही यील्ड कर्व इन्वर्स हो जाता है और धीरे धीरे इन्वर्स होता है, तो इकोनॉमिस्ट एंड फाइनेंशियल एनालिसिस्ट प्रिडिक्ट दैट देयर इज गोइंग टू बी अ रिसेशन इन दैट कंट्री. Okay, in 2008 when there was a financial meltdown, the first yield curve which got inverted was US this thing, and the stock market were rising and yield curve was actually inversing. People were not, it was giving a warning signal that the party is going to be over, and then the stock market fell down by about 60% from there on. January 2008 से लेके 3-4 महीने में the stock market fell down by 60%. The Sensex tumbled down from 22,000 level to 8,000. Okay, so that was the worst meltdown, and the signal was given by the yield curve that time. People ignored that, but this is a very normally the yield curve will give you 90% time it will give you a correct signal, but 10% time it can give you a false signal also. It can be just a short term phenomena and the yield curves can go back. Abhi Ukraine war and other time the yield curves were getting inverted for Europe, Germany, everywhere. For India it was still flat, it was not this thing. अब हम देखते हैं 3 लाइन है इसमें. एक तो है अभी की ब्लू वाली, 1 साल पहले की ऊपर वाली लाइन है. This means what? The interest rates have come down over last 1 year, which is a good news. That means government is borrowing at a lower rate of interest, and which means that if the interest rates, the government is what they're borrowing at a lower rate, that means the banks are giving loans at a lower rate. It is good for the corporate world. So the government wants the yield curve should become as low as possible so that the cost of capital becomes cheaper and the corporate world can take money and deploy that money into building up new machines, equipments, factories. So this is a very important barometer of the economy. But now the red line is a month before. तो 1 महीने में interest rates have gone up. Okay, though over the 1 year period the interest rates have come down, but over the 1 month period the interest rates have gone up, and this is because after the Trump's election results which came, okay, so this has pushed up the yield curve higher. Okay, now whether it will be a temporary one, and there is a lot of uncertainty, okay, fine, and that will get only removed when the Trump comes to power and people think that ये तो ठीक है, कोई problem नहीं आ रही, India के लिए is okay and for world it is not going to be a bad thing, then the yield curve may flatten out. Okay, fine. So this is what the yield curve is telling you. Okay, similarly this is this is the, अब मैंने आपको यहाँ दिखाया कि जो अब यहाँ आ जाते हैं. So you can go to the US also. US का भी आप देख सकते हैं. Okay, fine. Let me show you, or you can बाद में देखें इसको. इंडिया का ठीक है, ये हमने yield का इंडिया का देखा था. We can see the US yield curve also. Okay, let's see. Though that is not part of our learning, but anyway.
Sir, when we will be projecting the economy is going to be in the recession in future, in that case the bond curve will be inverted.
Inverted, yeah.
Recession होगा तो
हाँ, वो धीरे धीरे क्या होगा, धीरे धीरे आपका yield